dear listeners around the globe. Welcome to the 54th episode of the. Oh, wait a second. That's not my line. That's how Jan begins his hugely popular Let's Guide podcast. I wanted to try saying it just once to feel like a podcast superstar. Okay, fun moment over. Welcome everyone to another heartwarming episode of Know Your Connect Moderator. Thank you all for joining us today. And as always, a huge thanks to Adrian, who continues to support us by providing his YouTube channel for live streaming and recording these episodes. So we couldn't do this without you. Thank you, Adrian. Let me turn off my YouTube. I'm sorry. I put it on and it's running and it's, sorry about that. All right. Oops. All right. As usual, today's session is extra special because we have three wonderful people joining us today. First, our guest moderator, none other than Jan from Belgium, Connect Live alumni, process automation and CRM professional, guiding star, and the mastermind behind the Let's Guide podcast, one of the most beloved podcasts among local guides worldwide. Our first special guest, Jason from Los Angeles. Jason is a consumer advocate and local SEO. And when he's not deep into maps or local search, you'll probably find him enjoying concerts or comedy shows. Always fun, always insightful. Our second special guest, Amir from Iran, a soulful contributor who describes home as a place with calmness, atmosphere, and good people. He is passionate about urban backpacking, and we cannot wait to hear from him. Thank you, Jason and Amir, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So before we dive into our main session, I would request you all to tell us about yourself, like your full name, what you are passionate about, or some fun facts about you. Jan?
Well, as after this introduction, what more can I say? I'm from Belgium. You mentioned this, and I'm very passionate about everything Google Maps. That's quite clear. Of if you take into account the number of hours spent on making edits on maps and being on maps, and then being Connect Moderator and the podcast. If you add this all up, it's quite a bit of hours. And if you want a fun fact, I can tell you one. The fun fact is I was never a local guide level 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were directly local guide level 7. I'm sorry, 6.
Yes. So the a number of years ago, when it started, there were 5 levels. And then at some point, they switched from 5 to 10 levels. And I was a level 3 when they did the switch, but they recalculated some numbers. So I jumped from 3 to 6.
Sounds like you got a double promotion.
Yes, of course.
Actually, triple promotion.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Jan. Amir, you want to go next?
Thank you. I'm from Iran, as you mentioned, and I started contributing to Google Earth and Google Maps in 2007, and just continued till now because of the responsibility to keep it clean, to keep it clear and valuable. And I'm happy to be here because Jan is one of the most accurate local guides, most accurate moderators who pay special attention to the edits. And this is so valuable to me, and I'm happy to be here. And about my level, I started with level 5 in those years because there was only 5 levels, and jumped to level 10 after that. And that was a path that it comes with our contributions. I never paid a lot attention to points, but to contributing well contributing as a good user. And I also wrote something in this case in Connect.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Amir. So you are a level 10 local guide now.
Yeah, of course.
Nice. Jason, you want to go next?
Yeah, so Jason Brown started working with the Google product in 2016. Didn't really was do anything before that. My fun fact is 99.9% of all of my points came from suggestion edits. So I've been very active in updating bad information, usually removing fraudulent listings from the Google Maps. So that's kind of my thing. Yeah, I think I've got, all my points are just from doing suggested edits as being a spam fighter. So that's what I geek out on is map spam and online reviews. In fact, I've already got, I woke up this morning to 5 cases to even look into.
So we can officially call you Google Maps police?
Yeah, actually, Bright Local has dubbed me the unofficial sheriff of Google.
Nice, nice. And that's your fun fact as well?
Yes, that's my fun fact.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks, all of you. We will not do our regular Guess Who session today because we just do not want to. And instead, we can start with a quick, fun icebreaker to everyone warm up. So my first question would be to Jason. If you had to describe your personality in one word, or if you were an animal, which animal would you be?
One word would be tenacious. I'm very data driven, and once I lock on to like a target, I just don't give up. And so I guess my animal would be a dog, because I'm like a dog on a bone. I'm just constantly going at it, and you're not going to distract me from that bone.
Oh, that's nice. Amir, what about you?
Let me to say another pet, maybe a cat, because while I have passion to catch something, to move forward, but I'm still feel some cuteness. It likes these things and like to play with different matters of the of things just now.
Adrian is going to love you for that. He's a cat lover, just so you know.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amir. What about you, Jan?
Another thing I should mention.
Oh, sorry.
Because excuse me, I told the cat it is because the map of Iran is like a cat. You know. You
I did
maybe
not
heard about
understand
it.
that reference.
You can search it and we'll find many resources in this.
Oh, okay. I think Adrian was working on something like that, right? Adrian, you're mute.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, wait.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We cannot hear him. Okay. All right, let's move on. Jan, what about you?
Amir took my cat, so I have to come up with something other quickly. Blackbirds. No specific reason, but it's just it came to mind because it's one of my favorite Beatles songs.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're a Beatle fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can pick up the Beatle itself.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I am actually not a very good. I used to not be a very good fan of dogs, but recently I have started being friend with them. I have some personal issues with dogs, so doesn't matter how tiny the dog is, they always used to freak me out. But now I'm very friendly with dogs, so I'm happy about that. All All right, so I will move on to our maps talk, starting with Jan. When did you become a local guide, and what motivated you to join the program?
I guess about 8 years ago or so. It was quite early in the program. It was not when everything started, but it was really when I got my first smartphone. And you start taking pictures, and I'm somebody who is very much into convenience. So if they ask for some setting, would you like to? Yeah, I allow. That's privacy, and you have to be a bit careful. But if you say no to everything, then there's no fun in stuff. That's what you get, of course. So I said, yeah, fine with me. And after having taken one of the pictures, well, it was in Germany when we were walking, I got a pop-up. Would you like to add this picture to that point of interest? Oh yeah, why not? So I did. And as a lot of local guides have told or experienced, a couple of weeks later, you then get an email. Your picture has been viewed 600 times already. Bang! What the heck? And well, the rest is history. You get this gamification with the points and stuff. It drags you in. You get to pictures is nice to do reviews, but then if you start exploring what are the other possibilities, and then you come into the stuff with the edits, yeah, that's really very, very fascinating to me, and also to Jason and Amir, which is one of the reasons why I picked these two guests, because most local guides are into pictures and reviews. The editors, so to say, are a small minority, but very tenacious, as Jason already said, and very motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. Edits are something ignored by a lot of local guides, but we all know how important edits are. So other than contributing to maps, what activity are you most passionate about?
Well, I spend a lot of time in my job, spend a lot of time with my girlfriend, and but when those are all out of the table, I'm also quite active in the Belgian organization that is looking into everything with pseudoscience and the paranormal and stuff, and debunking claims, especially when it comes to health. You know, there's a lot of people that want to sell you all kinds of things that are good for this or good for that, which are just water and sugar and stuff. So yeah, that's my other big passion, where I was just before this call, I was working on that.
You know, that word you used, paranormal, that word stuck in my head, and I did not hear anything after that you said.
Yeah.
Because I love paranormal activity shows or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to Google Maps again. So which feature of Google Maps do you like the most, and why?
For me personally, for my personal use, the integration with public transit. If I've done quite a bit of traveling the last couple of years, and whenever you come to a city, all you need is Google Maps, and it will guide you through the public transit system. Even saying in very big stations like we had in Tokyo, it's just going to tell you, now follow these signs to that exit, and the connection will be on platform 3 in 4 minutes, and it's really, really accurate, which is of course due to the information from the partners, which needs to be accurate, and is in most cases the fact. So that's really, really convenient for me.
That's wonderful. Yeah, this is really amazing. We have seen in Japan, and also whenever I go to New York, I use a public transport, and the transit, even if it is 1 minute delayed, it shows on the maps that it's 1 minute delayed. This is amazing. I really like that.
Yeah.
So what are your most favorite way to contribute? You already mentioned about edits,
Yeah.
but other than edits, is there any other favorite feature? I mean, the favorite way of contribution to map?
Well, I often answer just you get questions all the time. Whenever questions come, I tick 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 answer one
Yeah,
after
just yes,
after
no,
the other.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you've visited places, you get, and it's always 11. They always
That's true. Yeah,
show you
always
11.
11.
No idea why, but it's always 11. Anyway, and then also uploading pictures. And I have a couple of thousand pictures there, but 0 of them have food in them. That's another fun fact about me. I've never ever uploaded a food picture, because a lot of local guides are foodies, especially also on Connect. I'm the opposite. I'm the food is something that my body needs to support the brain, that it's keeps functioning. That's the main thing. Yeah, like it needs to be a bit tasty and stuff, but I'm not into food at all. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the psychology behind this, like I know about me when I go to a place, I mean a restaurant, I go through the food pictures and see the reviews. So that way I know what to order. So that's how I feel, and that's why I contribute food pictures as well. So it's a different perspective for different
Yeah.
people.
Absolutely. Complimentary. That's what's helping a lot.
That's true. That's true. So my last question to you for this round: when did you become a Connect moderator, and how did you feel when you became a Connect moderator?
It must have been somewhere in 2019. In those days, there were like these big Connect Live events where they were inviting 200 people to California. And I wanted to join that event in 2018. So I started writing posts that were, that in my point of view, were helpful. The best practice, how to do this, how to do stuff like this, were very highly appreciated. And I was very active on Connect, and I thought, yeah, 200. I'll be one of those 200 for sure. I recorded the video, and I was not selected. I was so disappointed. Let's keep it polite. That I just said, okay, after the initial disappointment, I just decided to give it an extra shot. And that's when I started, for example, the idea with the podcast and stuff. And then at some point, yeah, there was no way around it anymore. So then they reached out and asking if I would want to be a moderator, which was really nice, and I accepted. On the there was a condition from my side. I asked them, okay, fine with me, but I still need, because in some of those posts I was criticizing the team or saying this and this is bad in my view, that there would be no restrictions on that, and they said, no, you can just express your opinion, whatever that might be. So yeah, that's the story.
That's inspiring. You know what? I have to admit this. A lot of time I'm not active on Connect, and if I hear a new episode from Let's Guide podcast, and then when I hear it on the go, maybe I'm driving or I'm doing something else, but the podcast is running in the back, and it actually gives me the idea what I missed on Connect. So that's really wonderful. Thanks to you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for sharing all these highlights and all about your passions and purpose that can create real impact.
Yeah.
All right. We will go to Amir and Jason now. First question would be to Amir. Same question. When did you become a local guide? You already mentioned that you started with level 5, right?
Yeah.
And which year was it?
Sure. I think 2016 it was. from the first month of the Local Guides program, I wasn't so social person, but Local Guides is a program that needs become social, become connect to other people, and because of this, there was a delay from to connect to join to the program. But finally, I realized that really mapmaker will go away, and I will be forced to join the program if I will continue editing, continue keeping map safe, keep it safe from spammers. And because of this, I joined to the program. Because this is right now, it is the main program that focus on all aspects of the maps. And I think, yeah, first month in 2016 it was.
All right. I think that actually covers my next question as well. I was about to ask you what motivated you to join. So you already answered that.
Yeah.
So other than contributing to Google Maps, what activity are you most passionate about? You already mentioned about urban backpacking. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I have no car, and mostly walk on the streets, go to malls, parks, and many places in the city, and with a backpack, and I like it. Put my gadgets in it, and it helps me to take pictures from different destinations. And sometimes I have contact with persons in the stores, and these are nice to me. Moreover, I also like it gives me the time to go to tourist attractions in the city and hidden gems in it, and it is very attractive to me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what Google Maps feature do you like the most?
Jan mentioned the transit that I have no sense about it in the Google Maps. Just I understand it in local map apps. But this is one feature we have it in Iran. Transit schedule. But if I mention something, I can mention lists, for example. It is very important to me that because I can organize places in one list and with different matters, with different subjects, and it really helped me about organizing places or checking them again, or even sometimes if some some spammers remove places, I can bring the link back from my lists and share it with Google Earth to reinstate it. There was very useful thing.
That's a smart way of doing it.
Mhm.
Never thought about it. That's really smart.
Thank you.
I think we do not get to create public list anymore, if I'm not wrong. We don't, right? Yeah, we can create list for our own. We can share it, but we cannot make it public anymore.
Yeah, it changes. Firstly, we have this ability to create public lists, but it changed after year to shared lists instead of public.
Right,
lists.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
lists
still,
really help.
But still, it is Google has Google and its partners have public lists. For example, Google share weekly lists, and it also gets lists from other websites, but those are partners.
Right. No, I was saying that we as local guides, we cannot do public lists anymore. We used to.
We can only share. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And my last question to you, you already mentioned about edits. What other way of, what is your other favorite contribution way to maps?
I try to contribute in all aspects of localguides and don't put any contribution part empty. And but after edits, I like photography more. I like taking pictures more and try to cover different aspects of a place, like stairs, like entrance, like sign, and if it is a restaurant, like foods. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you do post food pictures.
Yeah, of course. But most of the time, I after eating the food, I remember to take pictures of the food. But recently, it became better. I try to
After
take
eating the
pictures.
food, how can you take
Yeah.
picture of the food? The empty plate?
No, there is no way. Mostly, it before in the past years, I after eating the foods, I remember to take pictures, but there is
Oh,
no way. But
there's no way.
I try to
So you have
make
to
it
order
better.
again.
Yeah, but there is no money for that.
Yes. Sometimes it is expensive to contribute that way.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Amir.
thank you.
I will go to Jason now. Well, when did you become a local guide and what motivated you to join the program?
Yeah, so I joined the local guide program in 2016. I started working for an agency that handled local SEO for a national franchise. And so because I was running so many locations, I got asked tons of questions. And so it came more from a research point of view of figuring out what the local guide program was and the levels. And as I just happened to upload a couple photos of pumpkin patch that I took my kids to, I ended up uploading a review and attaching photos because I kind of was curious to see how the view counts went. And of course, then I get that email from Google, hey, would you like to become a local guide? And I'm like, yeah, I would, and so that's how I joined the program.
So, other than contributing to maps, what are you most passionate about? You already mentioned in your form that you like concerts and comedy shows.
Yeah, I love going to live events. In 2024, I went crazy and went to 7 different concerts between June and December. So I got to see some really good shows from Stevie Wonder to David Gilmour to the Foo Fighters. So very passionate about music and it's great because you get to meet people in your section, or we'll take public transit to some shows, and you actually get to have really great conversations with people about their hobbies, their passions, and why they like the group. And so it's kind of a nice way to connect with people on a regular level and have a really great experience.
And also, you share the same interest. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what feature of the Google Maps, other than edits, do you like most?
Yeah, I love two. There's the photo feature where you can actually see menus from restaurants, so that way I can check and see, what the price point is. If there's going to be food that I'm going to want to get at a particular restaurant. But I love Street View. I think Street View is one of the most underrated features on Google. You get to really get to see the area of where the business is located. Plus, you can actually go back most of the time and see the history. So you can see the different times that Street View had been updated over the years to see how the area has changed. But again, I use Street View a lot more for my spam fighting to do my edits to remove, fraudulent businesses that I can tell are not at that address. So but I like Street View. When I was working with that agency, I did what I called the tour of American parking lots because I wanted to make sure that the map pin matched up where the location of the business was, and I could do that a lot by using the Street View of the parking lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Street View is really helpful. I mean, especially when you go to a new place and you are heading to, for example, I was going to a new office the other day, and I had no idea what the surrounding looked like. So I had to go through the street view just to see what other buildings are nearby and what I should expect. It's really, you're right. It's really neglected yet, but it's really helpful.
You know, also especially for, as Jason mentioned, Street View, while making edits. If you're making edits in a place where you can do this in completely different countries, and if the Street View imagery is fairly recent, you can use it as evidence that things are no longer there, or not yet there, or represented incorrectly.
Yes.
It's a wonderful tool, and playing with the history is sometimes really fun.
It's really cool. Yes. And Jason, I know you are passionate about edits. What is your other favorite way of contribution?
Yeah, so it's not with the maps per se, but it's with using the redressal form to get fraudulent listings removed, or using Google's tools to report and remove fake reviews for clients, to say they get like a negative review, or the new extortion one-star review attacks that have been happening. So using that Google tool to like alert Google that businesses are being review bombed. So those are the tools I use outside of it. But I do like answering questions. But the problem is a lot of the questions that I get asked from Google Maps are questions that I'm not able to. Most people can't answer. You know, they don't make like a whole lot of sense. Like, I went to like a hole in the wall fast food place, and they were like asking me about like the culture and the dynamic of the business. And I'm like, this is a place you walk up to a counter and order your food, and you're asking me if it's like a fine dining restaurant. I'm like, a lot of these questions aren't related to this business. Like, if Google really knew, then they would give me a better set of questions. So sometimes I'll do those questions, but sometimes they're just so out there that I'm just like, I can't really do it. But I like to help people that are looking for businesses get the information that they're looking for.
Yeah, also I think about the questions, I wish there was a back button. Like, I answered something, moved on to the next question, then I realized that the previous answer was wrong. I answered it incorrect. So I wish I could go back and correct myself. So
I agree.
Most of the time, if I'm confused about the answer, I skip that question. So I move to the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for sharing all those passions of yours. Now we will move on to our next segment, which is we all curious to know if there is any topics or projects you guys are working on. So I will leave it open for all three of you. Are any of you currently working on a special project related to Google Maps or Connect? Whoever, I mean, well, Jan, you can go with.
Well, there's the podcast, there's local guides, Clean the Map, of course, which are ongoing for years. But I invited Jason and Amir specifically because of their connection to restrictions on or related to maps and the local guides program. In the case of Amir, in a country like Iran, where there's political tension with the US and Google being a US-based company, Google Maps, a number of features are simply not available there, and will be, or in a restricted way. So I think it's interesting to hear from Amir that perspective, and from Jason. Well, we already mentioned at the beginning, he's kind of the sheriff of Google Maps, so he must have wonderful stories about the spam fighter activities, and I'm quite curious to hear some of those.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll go first. So right now, I'm building a tool that was out a couple of years ago that doesn't really work. It doesn't work as well. So what I'm doing is I'm building a program where we can actually scan all the reviews of a Google business profile and determine which ones are fake and which ones are real, and then find the businesses that are engaged in fraudulent review activities, so we can actually spit out a report. So that way we can kick it over to Google or the authorities to open up investigations, or if a business wants to know if their competitors, falsifying reviews, because that's a huge industry, right? That's been going on for a long time. So that's one of the tools I'm building. Another buddy of mine that I'm working alongside has built out a tool where we can actually scrape all of the data by doing a keyword search. So we can pick any category we want. So let's say we pick locksmith, because that's a pretty scammy industry, right? And so we can do locksmith and then add any city we want. So we can do Dallas, Detroit, Toronto, and the tool will run pulling data directly from Google to their API, and we can actually get a full list of all of those businesses that are there. And then with my years of expertise, I can sit there and go through and figure out which ones are the lead gen listings that are fake, and get those removed. But with his tool and my tool, I can then scan all those businesses and start finding all the businesses that are being reviewed by the same fake review network. Now, the beauty is, because of the database, even the people that are hiding their profiles, that's a new feature. That's a feature that came out a couple of years ago because of the privacy laws in the UK, where you can actually hide your profile so people can't see who you're leaving reviews for. Well, because of the database that we're building, we actually can now unmask and find all the businesses that these private profiles are reviewing. And another project that I just completed, I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen it yet, but there was a report on Trustpilot where this company called Grizzly Research tried to claim that Trustpilot was engaging in mafia tactics. And when I read the whole study, I found a bunch of gaping holes in it. And so I actually did a full analysis of their flawed research and came out with ways where I pinpointed how they had flawed research by basically picking the incorrect businesses to map out. So they did like 6 businesses, 3 were online only, and 3 had physical locations you go to. Well, if a business has a physical location, where you're going to leave reviews? You're going to leave reviews more on Google than going to Trustpilot, right? So if you're going to like a Target Optical, you're not going to go to Trustpilot and leave reviews for all these locations or the main location on Trustpilot. But if you're buying eyeglasses from an online store, well, you're going to either leave reviews on Google through the Google merchant, or you're going to go to Trustpilot. So that was one of the fun things I just got to finish up on Thursday, because basically what the study is, they short sold the stock, and the stock ended up going down 38%. So they ended up losing 60 pounds because this company short sold the stock, knowing that these news organizations were going to pull it up. So it was a very interesting case. And so, like I said, I geek out on this stuff, but it's always interesting to look at the review ecosystem and how each case can kind of be similar, but there's so many different layers to it. So that's what I like. And so, like, right now I have a bunch of people reaching out to me about issues they're having with hostage movers, where basically they quote you one price, they show up to your house, and then when they show up, they're like, "Oh no, we misquoted you. Instead of it being $2,900, it's now $4,500, and if you don't pay us, then we're not going to release your stuff." Or they are brokers and they hire some fraudulent fly-by-the-night company. So that's the stuff that I love. I love working for consumers on their behalf. A lot of times when I'm working, people don't know the areas that I've gone in and cleaned up. So I've cleaned up a lot of spam in addiction treatment facilities where they were like lead gen listings, and just kind of coming into neighborhoods, and people don't know that I've come through their neighborhood and removed a bunch of fraudulent listings. But that's kind of what I've been doing for like the last 9 years now. So that's what I'm working on. So right now I'm working on mapping out all the lead gens across the United States and Canada, because there's just a lot of abuse right now. And so that's kind of my big project for 2026, is just mapping them all out, getting them reported and getting them removed, because Google's kind of like a glacier sometimes. They move at a snail's pace. And so what I want to do is I want to put a little rocket on their back and help expedite the process, because it seems like we're at a lull right now where I know a lot of people are saying that edits aren't working on maps right now. So we're getting a lot of immediate rejections, even though we have high-level, high-trust accounts, right? And so we're noticing that edits aren't working. And it's like, well, we keep telling Google, hey, our edits aren't being approved. Why is that? And it's falling on deaf ears. So what I like to do is I like to take the stick to the beehive and just go crazy and just keep whacking at it. And I think that I found that it's the only way that you can get Google to respond is with negative press, right? Like all these 1-star extortion attacks have been going on for over a year now. And it wasn't until the New York Times ran a story last November, back in, last month in November, that we actually got a form, and now they're removing these reviews within 24 hours, whereas before they were staying up for like 6 weeks, several weeks to several months. And so that's kind of what I'm extremely passionate about, is just coming up with a way to identify it, map it out, report it, and get it removed to protect people.
That is really exciting.
It was the same a couple of years ago with the locksmiths. There was some TV show in Canada, I think, that did an issue on it, and then they started moving on. But I have one quick question, Jason.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're working on tools. Those are tools for your use, or tools that could also be used by other local guides?
That was my question too. Thank you.
Yeah, tools that anybody can use. So right now we're in the development phase. So my tool will be actually ready within the next few weeks. But yeah, anybody can do it. Unlike another company that was doing it, that was kind of charging way too much, I'm going to do a lot of comprehensive pricing. So I'm going to do basically what everybody's been moving into, where it's a credit system. Based on how many credits are needed to run the report is basically what it's going to cost people. So instead of selling a report for $49.99, if it only is going to cost me $2 to run the report, then I'm going to charge to sell that report for $5. So that way it's not like, oh gee, do I really want to spend this much money? Because my whole thing is, a lot of what I do is pro bono, right? Like, people don't realize like how many man hours I spend fighting spam and fraud and abuse. I have clients that pay me, and they pay me pretty well, but then I also have consumers that get ripped off. And so then I'm like, okay, well, here's what we need to do to get this, reported. Usually it's going to the news organizations first, because we know that government investigations can take a while. Like one case that I've been working on pro bono since July of 2023, the company is still being investigated to this day by multiple entities, and we don't know when they're going to finish up with their investigation and actually levy charges against the organization. But in the meantime, it's getting as much information out to the public to protect public from sending their loved ones to an addiction treatment facility that's just there to rip off insurance companies and not provide any real treatment. So that's kind of what I do a lot of. So I'm more concerned about the good of the consumers than I am about making money, because I could make, I could be really rich right now if I overcharge my services. People are like, you don't charge enough, you should raise your prices. I'm like, well, I over deliver, and I'm the best pound for pound, buck for buck. So that's kind of what it is. But yeah, no. Once it's live, I'll have an announcement. I'll have to rebrand my review fraud website. But yeah, it's kind of amazing. It's like, as crappy as my website looks, I still get a lot of leads on a daily basis for people submitting information to me. So anyway, sorry.
We actually have two questions from Adrian. Adrian, I think you better ask yourself.
Yeah, just if I can figure out my mute button. The first question is, could you briefly explain how your system is able to tell if a review is real or fake?
Well, yes. Well, since I've been doing it, I've been looking at online reviews since December of 2016. I actually have an eye for suspicious patterns of behavior. So usually what I look at is to see, okay, so say I come across your profile, Adrian. So what I would expect to see is I expect to see you leaving a bunch of reviews in your area, right? Occasionally you're going to leave a review not in your area, right? Because you may travel, right? Sonia says she travels, right? So I'd expect to see, Sonia leaving reviews, in Japan or Tokyo, That's what I would notice, right? But Sonia's not just going to leave one review. Sonia's going to leave several reviews, right? So it will look natural and be like, okay, well, she left a review at a hotel and at a restaurant and some other businesses. What she probably more than likely would not be doing is leaving reviews for a bunch of plumbers or roofing companies, right, in these other areas. And so those are some of the red flags that I see. And so when I start seeing, you know, people leaving reviews for 17 roofing companies in 5 different states, that's a red flag, right? Because most people don't have, you know, that 17 homes in 5 states, right? Like that's just not going to make sense. But when I start seeing that you, Jan, Sonia, Amir, Jake are all leaving reviews for 8 of the same businesses, but Adrian, you and Sonia have left reviews for 12 of the same businesses. Well, that's not normal, right? Like I'm not a mathematician, but you'd probably have better odds of winning the lottery while being attacked by a shark, while being struck by lightning, right? Like that's just not, it's not possible. As many reviews as I've looked at over the years, I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've actually seen somebody I know leave a review for a business, and that business was in my own area, right? So in my own city. So it's very rare to actually see a review from somebody you know, unless, you know, you are in the localguides Connect program where you know these people, right, from all over the globe. So those are the things that I can see. I can also tell sometimes because they make, you know, really stupid mistakes, or they'll repost the same review over and over again. My personal favorite is when they refuse to remove the quotation marks at the beginning and the end of the paragraph. And so so then I can tell it's like copy and paste. Sometimes they forget to take out special characters, or they'll say insert business name. So I mean, you know, we're dealing with people that are doing this, you know, in mass. So it's very easy for me to see this and identify it. Why Google can't see it, I don't know. If I can build a tool where I can identify this, you know, and the funny thing is, you know, Google comes out every year and they say, well, here's how many fraudulent reviews we removed, or here's how many fraudulent reviews we prevented from being posted on Google. And I'm like, well, how come I see more than what you guys are removing, right? Like, you know, so we just finally started seeing in the last couple of years where what they used to do is just remove the reviews, but they would leave the account up and intact, right? So you can continue to log in and keep leaving reviews. And so when I noticed that like some of the fake profiles that were covered by the media were still up and still leaving reviews, so finally Google's finally just gone through and started deleting them. Now, I don't know if they're deleting because of that purge where Google's like, well, if you don't use an account for a certain period of time, we're just going to delete it. Or they're finally like, no, we're seeing fraudulent activity from this account. We're just going to go ahead and delete it. So that's a long way to say I'm just really good at seeing it. You know, when you spend so much, like, you know what a good business is when you're looking at the reviews. You can't really describe it, but you know when you're looking at a good business. You know, if you see like a bunch of negative reviews and they're all saying basically the same thing, that you're going to get conned, you sit there and go, I think I'm going to get scammed here. I'm not going to go with that business.
It sounds like it's a semi-automated system. The automated part will be the screen scrapping, data scrapping thing, and then you can do an overlap and find matching whatever it is. But it sounds like you're the brain that kind of determines, you know, how fake a review is. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, it's like doing a peer review. So you might the data's going to go and pull all the data, but I'm not just going to, you know, I'm not going to let AI just give it a pass or fail grade. Like I want to go and look and actually see if it's real or not. So I'm going to give it my own human approach. And so every report that gets kicked out, I'm going to sign off on. I don't want to just kick out a report, because that was one of the issues I found with this other company was they used AI way too much to determine if the company passed or failed. Well, some of the companies that passed actually should have failed, or vice versa. And so my history of also dealing with a lot of these industries or some of these companies that I've been, you know, tracking for, you know, 9 years now, I know who's been messing around with fake reviews, you know. And so when I see a company like that pass, I'm like, no. So it's going to be a lot of data driven. But when I look at the comprehensive report, it's going to be very easy for me to sit there and go, how come this person reviewed 18 of the same business, right? Like, yeah, we may go to the same businesses, a bunch of times, example, McDonald's, right? We may go to a bunch of McDonald's, but how many of us are really going to be leaving reviews for each and every single McDonald's business that we go to when I'm looking at the business profile for a locksmith, right? Like, that kind of seems a little odd, but again, like I say, I see a lot of the same businesses showing up repeatedly, right? Like, so say I'm looking at a locksmith, then all of a sudden I'll see a bunch of reviews for a bunch of urgent cares. Then I'll see a bunch of reviews for a bunch of Walmarts or a bunch of furniture stores. When I start seeing patterns like that, then it's like, yeah, now I'm seeing, signs of abuse, but the nice thing is all of these fake review networks, they all have a tell. And so what I've noticed is every time I talk about their tells, then they go and they change it up. And so there's a few tells that I actually don't mention because I don't want them to clue in on, but they make it so easy that you can just tell the pattern, and so, it's like, they think of it of a game as like, where's Waldo? But I'm able to zoom in more on that Waldo and find him.
Cool. Thanks so much for that. I had a second question, but I'm going to shelve it because I would like to actually hear from Amir about the restrictions that he mentioned, because I have no idea, what they are, and just curious what it is. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. I understand that you may have no idea about the restrictions, but indeed, we are using maps like a Google Maps, like a paper map, but with no disk or platform to put the map on it. We have a basic map. We have a basic map with roads, with places, but not suitable control on them, not a true way to have communicate with them, to interact with them. One of the most important restrictions is that we have no button for adding review from the app, and also for adding photos. This is one of the most basic problems, and we ask it a lot from the first years of the local guides, but still no suitable reason for this, because we're able to add reviews from the web, but and we have this button, but on the app we have no option. Because of this, you see very far numbers. For example, a tourist attraction in other countries have thousands of reviews, but here we have only hundreds of reviews for a tourist attraction, and this is a big challenge. And every users ask about the why, ask about where is the review button, how we can review, and even where is our reviews. We cannot see our review from the app. We should only go to our profile to see our reviews, and cannot see it on the places. I know, and this is one of the big problems, I think. But if I want to mention all restrictions, it is a big list. For example, Google Business Profile is not available here, and because of the restrictions Jan also mentioned, and this causes a lot of spam, because businesses have no control on their point, and on the other hand, they are not familiar with the naming rules. They add many keywords, they add many descriptions in the name, and there is no suitable channel to learn them, to learn all of them. There's not a suitable official channel to learn them, what's the rules and how they can name businesses. And because of this, many spammers are active on the map and can destroy each others, can change their names, and there's only basic things that we can do to fight these spams, and not a official resource, not an official channel. And another big restriction is, I also mentioned it before, is not having the transit layer, active transit layer. We added many stations in the map maker, but when it was discontinued for users, there is no lack of information on the map because places changed during the time, and many stations updated, many stations added to the transit lines, and we have no access to reflect these changes on the map. On the other hand,
for the public transit, does the local company that is in charge of it, they have an app where you can follow so the data is available. It's just not linked, not
the
linked
connection.
to map.
Yeah, it should be available, and it is all because of the global restriction by the US. And data is available. But still, Google Maps is most used platform for map even in Iran, and this could be a big problem for people to commute in the city without availability of the transit layer. And
just a quick one, sorry.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, are you also experiencing the same problem with other map providers? Or is it just specifically American-based companies?
Indeed, indeed, all global providers, not a problem, I think, like the US companies. But I told the Google Maps is a must-use platform, and people didn't even pay attention to other global platforms, like, for example, Yelp or other things. Baidu, I think, never people pay attention to them. But they're using local apps instead, and the transit layers are available, but the Google Maps, which is their global platform, didn't have it. And I think the only global platform we're using in Iran is Google Maps. And on the other hand, people also using OSM for their websites, because Google platform will charge them, and there is no way to pay to Google or add a credit card number to Google, and people using OSM for their websites. But for commuting and for finding places, they're using only Google Maps and local apps. I can also mention many other restrictions if you are passionate about it. Let's hear from you.
You're muted, Sonia.
Have no voice.
Sorry.
Okay.
I actually want to go back to your first part. You mentioned that when someone looks at a place, they do not get to see their own reviews. They have to go to their own profile to see their reviews. That means their reviews are not posting publicly, or what is the reason?
No, the reason I told, I think because the Google Cloud platform is restricted here. It's affected in all other aspects, like adding review button and adding photo button, and also visiting our own review. The review is publicly available. It is visible on the web, but we cannot see on the app.
That's so.
Okay,
So That's so weird. It's there, it's
Exactly.
available, but in the app,
Yeah,
not being able to add pictures from the app makes no
yeah.
sense.
We should
Exactly.
use workarounds to do
Yeah.
this. We should
And
use workarounds.
nowadays people use actually web app more than the web.
Yeah, of course.
So how about
Only
your ride sharing programs, like for example, Uber and other companies? Do they use Google Maps backend or?
I told you, we have the Uber is not available here, but the local apps available, and they're using local maps and
Local
not
maps?
they cannot use Google Maps. But for traffic, they mostly use Google Maps for predicting the traffic because it is the most reasonable resource. But for
Okay.
other parts, such as the basic map and such as the POIs, they're relied on the local apps, must and OSM also because it's free.
So is there any possible solution to this problem? I mean,
I really don't know.
without us contacting with the government or Google Maps directly?
Perhaps in
the
2028.
only thing I think it is on the hand of Google, and Google can fix it, is availability of the review button and adding photo button. Other problem is not on the hand of Google, and it needs more global decisions.
Have you posted anything on Connect regarding
Yeah,
this?
yeah, of course.
Okay.
We have posted a lot from the first year. I think the first time I posted it was 2017. But and many times we mentioned it, but no real fix, no real attention in it, and it is we get used to it. We try to teach people how add reviews by the app, how by the other options they're available there, but it is not the main way. And many people also didn't search to add review. When they see there's no option, leave it. And still no official way, no official announcements by Google, and nothing.
Yeah, that's
And it's the main problem, I think. But there's also many other restrictions. For
Yeah, I
example,
think that is
uh, for
on
example, yeah. Let me to say it, and then I will answer your question. One of the most important lack of the Google Map for us is not availability of the AI. Because Gemini is restricted here, we have no access to any AI feature on Google Maps. Yeah.
yeah.
AI is a relatively new feature on maps, so probably it will take time. But whatever we are getting without AI, that should also be available in your country as well. So, yeah, maybe Adrian was saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying that on Local Guides Connect, the people managing that platform, they won't have the power or responsibility of making this such
That's
big
true.
policy
Yes.
changes. So I mean, they will report it further up the chain, but this is something that's way above most people's pay grade, I guess. I wonder whether things like Open Map is usable. Where I mean,
Open
You
Street
know,
Map.
the way I look at it, right? If Google Maps is not providing the service, then I would just not use it. I've got no loyalty in that sense. I mean, like it's such a crucial thing to have navigation, and if one company refuses to provide the service, then I wouldn't be surprised if the people decide to go with another provider. I mean, assuming there is one, so I don't know.
I
yeah.
actually have a silly question. You might have already answered this, but I still want to know. People who personally travel, I mean, meaning who drive or walking, do you use Google Maps as a navigator, or you use your own country maps?
Mhm. It is also one important aspect. I remember, I think till 2021, we have not access to the navigation too. And we can only get roads, but the navigation section wasn't available to us. But after that, it was available till now, and we're using it for commuting. But because still, again, because there is no official connection to update the roads, and because changing the way of updating roads, and because many parts changed, many roads closed, and because many changes happened in the city, and it didn't reflect on the Google Maps, people mostly rely on the local apps because they're up to date and have many official data. But still, they're also using Google Maps.
So do you still use the paper maps as well?
No, not, but it is like a nostalgic idea. But no, people didn't use paper map, and they mostly rely on the apps. But unfortunately, Google Maps, which is the most used platform, has lack of data, and they're forced to use only local maps to commute better in the city and to uh, see official changes on the map.
Hmm. That's really interesting. I mean, modern days when we are talking about so much advancement, and we are still going actually backwards. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it
There
is
are certain
also
things we cannot take.
it is also one reason that people became angry from Google Maps when they're using maps and it didn't reflect, for example, dead-ends and didn't reflect the correct names of the roads. They're getting very angry, and it reflects a lot on social media.
Hmm.
But
I
yeah,
understand why.
I actually switched from Apple Maps to Google Maps, and I found that the calculated time of arrival was actually more in line with what Google Maps was saying compared to what Apple Maps, and especially after Google bought Waze, then you started getting better data. So it'd be like, hey, you can save 8 minutes if you went this other route, or they started allowing for alerts about police activity in the area, like speed traps. But also the other issue with Apple Maps is you actually have to have an address on to have a listing on Apple Maps, and Apple Maps pulls a lot of its data directly from Yelp, so that's where they get their reviews. So you can't really so you're basically just getting Apple Map reviews from Yelp, but yeah, Google's got a lot more features that we can use, especially now with I think the last update within the last year, where you can actually see on Google Maps on the desktop, you can actually see traffic when you're looking at the maps on desktop. So it's kind of nice to actually see, some of those capabilities. But, I kind of feel bad for Amir, because he's in one of those countries that is restricted from being able to either create Google Map listings or being able to update them. And we know Google's been heavily reliant on AI and scraping maps, or scraping websites to update Google Maps. Or like in our case, we had the Pacific Palisades fires, and they went through and they marked every single business as temporarily closed that was in that area. Well, most businesses don't know how to go in and update that after Google's done that update. So that's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Adrian, I think we are past our scheduled time. We will not get disconnected, right?
No, everything will be fine. Sorry, that's just a timer
All right.
thing, just to keep you.
Okay, because the timer
Wow.
is red, like it's how
I
it
know.
looks like the bomb will explode any minute. All
But
right, yes.
I
go ahead.
did post 2 links. One is the redressal form. Amir, I don't know if you can use that to report some of the keyword stuffing names or some of the fraudulent listings in your area. If that doesn't work, or if you want to have somebody, on the Google Business Profile Product Expert Forum escalated, the last link on the bottom is directly to that forum. So we do know there is the Maps help forum and the Google Business Profile help forum as alternatives. I didn't know there was restrictions until Joy Hawkins actually told me, and she initially started off on the map edit side, and then became a Google Business Profile expert. So, occasionally, people come in and be like, I can't create it, and I'm like, I actually know that answer, But yeah, it's interesting because, Google doesn't really communicate when something has been restricted. Like here in the States, they turned off the ability for schools to get reviews. And it was because you didn't pick and choose which school you were going to. If it was based upon where you lived. And so there was really no reason to leave reviews. And then the school started getting spammed by a bunch of kids that were playing jokes and uploading, silly photos, to mess with their school. And to Google, so it was also another reason for Google to come in and be like, okay, we're going to turn off this feature, but they don't really state when that feature's been turned off. It's very rare, and we've been seeing some changes in the last year or so where they'll actually put alerts on a business saying, hey, we remove reviews. I was looking at a business that's been closed. I don't know how long. It just showed up on one of my recent scans, and they haven't had any reviews in over 6 years. And the business merge is permanently closed, but when I clicked on it, I got an alert saying that reviews have been turned off because of suspicious activity on this profile. And I'm sitting there going, it's a permanently closed business. Why are you now alerting that you're not allowing reviews for some closed business? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's Google and their infinite wisdom. They think they know better than us, and whether they give us something or they take something away from us, it's on them. We don't always know when they do it, which is kind of frustrating. Especially now where they can actually hide reviews, more. So like that's why I stopped leaving reviews, is because a lot of my reviews were constantly being filtered out. I'm like, you're asking me to leave a review. I go to leave a review, and then you filter it out, and you're not telling me. I know with the EU, they have to tell people about a denial of service, but they're not telling us when our reviews are being filtered out, and so, there's a lot of issues with the Google ecosystem. And I think Jan, Amir, and I kind of seen like those edge cases that a lot of people don't really know about or really talk about with issues with the system. And what boggles my mind is Google relies heavily on user-generated content, right? They want us to answer questions. They want us to do edits. They want us to upload reviews. They want us to upload photos. They want food photos. People on here want to see your food photos. Anyway, but they thrive on that, right? Like they want our data because our data makes their product that much better. But they don't tell us when they're filtering out our reviews, or they're not allowing us to see. In Amir's case, you can't see it on the app. Like or you have to see it on the app. You can't see it on desktop. It's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and that's Google and their infinite wisdom, or with government laws. And so I think as we see more government laws, we're going to see more transparency, like is what we saw after the EU passed that privacy law. I forgot the name of it. There's so many different acronyms. Jan, do you remember what it is?
GDPR.
GDPR, right? I was going to say DCMA, but that's not what I was thinking of. But yeah, I mean that's exactly it. Once that law passed, we got more transparency on the Google side. But Google doesn't always tell us like they're supposed to, right? Like, and so it's kind of like mind-boggling when we get alerts from Google and information, and when they decide, yeah, we're not going to do it. And I know from one of the summits that I attended, they don't want to constantly bombard people with emails about their product, but a denial of service should be a standard. Hey, we removed your review, notification.
Thank you so much, Jason and Amir, for sharing your insightful thoughts and information. It's really wonderful. I'm afraid we still had a lot of things to discuss, but I'm afraid our time is up. So we have to wrap it up. But before we wrap up, it's time for our traditional photo session. Unless anybody has any question to ask. All right. So would you mind turning on your camera, Jake and Moscow Manny? Jake, I like your background.
Thank you. I missed the Krampus day by 1 day. It was yesterday. So in honor of Jan, I'm here in a Belgian Christmas market with Krampus behind me, and
that's nice. That's really nice. There is a Christmas market going on here as well in Plano. Maybe we should go there tomorrow. All right, Moscow Manny, you don't want to turn on your camera, I'm understanding. Adrian, you want to take the picture? Actually, let's do both. Before that, let me share my album link so that you can post your photos here. And here is the album link. You guys can share your photos. And yes, Adrian.
Muted.
Are you taking pictures, Adrian?
Yes.
My face hurts from smiling for so long.
Yeah.
I've got two mute buttons, you see. So one for me and one on my microphone, and it just goes bonkers. Yeah, I got the pictures. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you everyone so much, and especially Jan, Jason, and Amir for sharing your stories.
Absolutely welcome.
Yes, and these meetups always remind us how beautifully diverse and inspiring our local guide community is. And once again, thank you, Adrian, for powering our live stream and providing us the Go Loco space to publish these sessions. To all those watching live or catching up the replay later, thank you for being part of this journey. And as this is our last meetup of the year, I want to wish each of you a warm, joyful, and peaceful New Year ahead. May 2026 be filled with kindness, travel, and unforgettable memories. And our final exciting note, our January guest moderator will be Feliciana from Indonesia. So stay tuned for another wonderful session. Thank you all once again. See you at the next meetup.
Okay,
Take care
thanks.
and
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
Bye.